Donald Trump celebrating tonight after a major win at the US Supreme Court. It ruled that states cannot remove presidential candidates from their ballots.
It came after Colorado's highest court ruled Trump should be struck off its voting papers. US correspondent Mitch McCann reports.
This could have been a disastrous day for the Donald, instead a rare legal victory for the former president.
I think it will go a long way toward bringing our country together, which our country needs.
Last year, Colorado's highest court ruled that Donald Trump should be removed from its ballot. A group of Colorado voters sought the ruling, saying Trump engaged in the January 6 insurrection, and for that reason the US Constitution prohibits him from running again.
Those who violated their oath to the Constitution once before will do it again, and even worse if they're allowed back into power.
But every single one of the US Supreme Court justices found against the bid to remove Donald Trump. It determined individual US states can disqualify people from running for state office, but they hold no power when it comes to national offices, especially the presidency.
The rationale here really is we don't want states to be able to do this.
This means similar challenges in other US states will be thrown out. But in their ruling, the court did not say whether it thought Trump engaged in an insurrection. Instead, it just focused on the power of the states.
This isn't the only case where the US Supreme Court here in Washington is set to decide the political fate of Donald Trump. It's also set to consider another case, whether or not he has presidential immunity from his Washington criminal trial.
That's the one where he is accused of election interference, and one experts say will be a much harder argument for him to win. And Trump knows it.
If a president doesn't have full immunity, you really don't have a president, because nobody that is serving in that office will have the courage to make, in many cases, what would be the right decision.
Voters are set to make their own decision tomorrow in more than a dozen states during Super Tuesday. Trump is likely to score a big win there too.
Our US correspondent joins us now. Mitch, can anyone actually stop Donald Trump on Super Tuesday?
Good evening, Sam. It is hard to see Donald Trump being stopped at this stage. Tomorrow, 15 states here in the US will vote for who they want to have as the Republican nominee for President of the United States. And in some of those states where polls have been conducted, Donald Trump is leading in every single one of them. In fact, in the states where he's leading by the least amount, he's still ahead by between 27 and 30 points in places like Utah and Vermont. So the big picture here is Donald Trump is racing fast towards that Republican nomination. Now, as I mentioned last night, the earliest he can clinch that nomination is the 12th of March, so around 7 or 8 days from now. Although if Nikki Haley, the other Republican candidate, if she was to pull out tomorrow after a poor result on Super Tuesday, Donald Trump would still need the delegates, but it would open a clear path for him with no other realistic viable candidate. So he could become the presumptive nominee if she pulls out. It really could be a big week for Donald Trump, a successful week after that Supreme Court win today, and then possibly Super Tuesday tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see, Sam.
OK, we will be watching. Thank you so much, Mitch.